Timestamps can be found in the description. What's up, guys? I got another one for you. Today we're talking about Nope. Nope is another film by one of my favorite directors currently in horror, Jordan Peele. Let's talk about it for a second before we jump into ratings and what this thing's about and the actual detailing of the plot. I found this film extremely fascinating to the degree that I immediately wanted to look up what any sort of context could be driven from it, what kind of deeper meaning, quote unquote, that he tries to put in a lot of these movies. It's one of his better ones. It's a great bounce back from Candyman. Candyman was not his shining moment. He's done, all of his other films have been fantastic. What is it? We have Get Out, which stars the same main lead as we have. We have Get Out, we have Us, and we have Candyman from beforehand. But this one definitely is a giant step back into the appropriate direction that we know that he can deliver. So thank goodness he did a good job with this. The mystery of this film itself gives everything so much more meaning. With that being said, I did feel this film was a little bit long. Some scenes kind of hovered for a little bit. If they could have cut this film down by about 20 minutes, I think this would have been a knockout, easy 10 out of 10, but it was a little bit long, so do what you will. Now, let's jump right into it. What is this film about, you might be asking? I'll tell you right now. Two siblings running a horse ranch in California discover something wonderful and sinister in the skies above, while the owner of an adjacent theme park tries to profit from the mysterious otherworldly phenomenon. We'll go 2 paragraphs at a time because it's a little bit longer, and we'll see if we can dissect it as we went through it, as we saw it. In 1998, in front of a large studio audience for a sitcom, Gordy's home, the titular chimpanzee animal actor attacks several of its human co-stars after being startled by a pop of a balloon. Child actor Ricky Jupe Parker hides under the table and is unharmed, though traumatized by the experience. The chimp finds Jupe and extends his hand for a fist bump before being shot dead by authorities. This is all kind of out of whack. That doesn't get shown till later on. In present-day Agua Dulce, ranch owner Otis Hayward Sr. trains and handles horses for film and television productions when he is killed by a nickel through the eye that falls inexplicably from the sky. His children Otis O.J. Hayward Jr. and Emerald M. Hayward inherit the ranch. OJ tries to keep the business afloat and maintain his father's legacy, while M seeks fame and fortune in Hollywood. The Haywards claim that the unnamed jockey and from Plate 626, a series of photographs from Bohemian man named Alistair E. Haywood, their ancestor. Now, how this film actually opens up, because this is a little bit all over the place from the Wikipedia article. It starts off with them playing a sitcom in the background, kind of covered by almost complete darkness, as you're hearing very sitcom-y answers of I thought a rocket scientist would at least know how to figure out, would at least know how to give a gift, or some strange little quick cliche series entry. While somebody gives all you hear is something pop, followed by the screams of all the actors on set. The camera then zooms in to show several bits of clothing and blood scattered throughout the sitcom set. The entire audience is emptied, and all you see is a young boy hiding beneath a table with a chimp covered in blood, looking dead down the pipe at the camera. We then jump to, like it says, to the present-day Agua Dulce, which I did not know how to say, and I will admit to that. Pronunciation is an amazing thing that Google provides. A very famous actor. I recently learned that he was the voice of Goliath on Gargoyles. Mr. Keith David is the father of OJ, aka Otis Hayward. They're doing kind of basic conversations on how one of the horses how all the horses seem to act really well, and it seems as they'll be they'll most likely be called back for the sequel. And just a little bit of back and forth between him and his son, as suddenly he hears a couple of a weird sound above, and it sounds like a high-pitched scream or a whinny, as you begin to hear bits of things begin to fall from the sky. It sounds like metal objects are falling from the sky as OJ notices and turns to look to see his father kind of slumped onto a horse as he falls over. It's a very powerful scene of him driving his dad, trying to make sure trying to keep his dad awake, saying like pretty much name the horses. Can you name the horses for me? And it's right before this moment where we see that some of the things falling from the sky. It seems that there is a key stuck in a horse. There are several bits of metal coins and things like that have fallen. We go to the ambulance, not the ambulance. It's at the hospital where we realize that through a couple of x-ray scans that a coin attached to a necklace had pierced through his father's eye and killed him. All I'll say throughout this, it was beautifully filmed. Lighting throughout this thing is fantastic. Of course, the soundtrack's going to be awesome, and it's set up really well. Let's jump to the next two. 6 months later, while filming a commercial with prominent cinematographer Antlers Holst, one of the horses, Lucky, reacts aggressively when the crew startles it, and the Haywards are fired from the project. The ranch's financial woes have forced OJ to sell horses to Jupe, who operates the nearby Jupiter's Claim. Jupe shows Em and OJ a room full of memorabilia from Gordy's home. He explains that people pay him handsomely for access to the room. Typically driven by a fascination with the attack, Jupe reminisces about a Saturday Night Live skit starring Chris Kattan as Gordy that parodied the incident. Jupe offers to buy the ranch from the Haywards, an offer which Em encourages OJ to accept, though he refuses, intent on repurchasing the horses. Jupe lets them know in this moment that he was the kid there, and she kind of asks what really happened, and he kind of uses this Saturday Night Live skit to kind of pull him away from this moment, to kind of be like, he was doing so good acting as this ape, and every time you would hear the word jungle, he would act crazy. Besides that, yeah, it's pretty much this entire setup is just the film cuts, and the film cuts a lot throughout the entirety of the film with just a name across it. That I don't really necessarily understand. If they wanted to do chapters or something like that, I could get. It was kind of strange to me, but once again, I'm not a writer, I'm not a director, I'm barely a storyteller I'm barely a storyteller as is. It cuts showing OJ trying to do something that his father used to always do, which was kind of like lead into why they're important before doing this safety skit, because you have live animals on scene, therefore you have to be very cautious and you have to let all the actors know basic rules. Quickly, like almost immediately, people begin standing behind horses, and as someone who's owned horses in the past, you don't do that if you value anything on your person, including bones. He's trying. You can tell he's not much of a people person. He's definitely jumping back into this too soon. It's only 6 months after his father's passed, he kind of is trying to buy time for his sister to get here, who doesn't seem to be much in the picture with the ranch anymore. It seems that she's kind of jumping towards her other goals, like playwright, actress, song, dance, craft services. I don't know. She kind of throws it all out there. While trying to pitch or pretty much trying to pitch the safety precautions for dealing with animals and horses. You can see there's a little bit of back and forth with them. They're still, like, a loving relationship, but you can definitely tell that he kind of feels abandoned at this point because she's went to do other things while he's still at this ranch trying to make sure their family legacy is upheld. The horse freaks out because apparently there's this large, almost orb-like thing that they would use in cameras and film along something like that, and it freaks out the horse. Of course the horse freaks out. That's tough. And kicks a nearby makeup stand behind it, therefore getting them fired. You now see that there's like a CGI horse being moved in. The cinematographer, Antlers Host, has the best voice ever. Like, that is such a good voice. I've never heard it, to my knowledge, like whoa, it's so good. But that's just besides the point. Everything else kind of lines up. The Jupe thing I mentioned with him mentioning the fact that people are trying to buy out this room that he kind of has hidden in the back. He's trying to have a conversation with OJ, trying to make sure that they're still good with buying and selling the horses. OJ's kind of like bringing up the fact that, hey, I want to make sure you know that I still want to buy these back. These aren't yours to own. This is just a quick buck, but while we get back on our feet until we booked our next movie. And he kind of like pushes that aside and uses any opportunity he can not to talk to him about it. Everything else still lines up, and that's fine. That night, the Haywoods noticed their electricity fluctuating and their horses vanishing and violently reacting to an unknown presence. They discovered a UFO-shaped flying saucer that has been taking their horses and spitting out inorganic matter, which caused their father's death. Motivated by a desire of wealth and fame, the siblings decide to document evidence of the UFO's existence and recruit Fry's electronics employee Angel Torres to set up surveillance cameras. Electrical interference from the UFO and an insect on one of the cameras prevent them from getting clear footage, but Angel notices a nearby cloud that never moves. They deduce that is the UFO's hiding place. They do an excellent job for the first lead up because since so much of it takes place at night and it's just darkness and quiet, they begin to play music as they're kind of just trying to relax and, think about what to do next. This is the first time as they begin to hear the music, an excellent reference to this is in Dead Silence. Whenever this witch would come in, they would have this music begin to warp and turn, which is what Jordan Peele loves to do with any sort of new music. He'll slow it down to make it this creepy, eerie sound. You can almost do this with every type of music, but he does an excellent job with that as he begins to see and hear that high-pitched screaming, that whinny above him as he sees a lot of the horses acting weird and making sure that they are nowhere near that thing. They do an excellent reveal where, first they hire Angel Torres, who's pretty much the comic relief of most of the film. He does an excellent job. It wouldn't be a Jordan Peele film if there wasn't a little bit of humor in there just kind of throughout it, because you can't be just scared all the time. You have to kind of exhale and relax for a moment. They hire Angel. Angel keeps kind of questioning them. What are y'all looking for? He does an excellent job with trying to be passively curious and then kind of floating the idea out that he also kind of is interested in UFOs and it's totally normal to be obsessed with these sorts of things. He really wants to be involved in this, and they're kind of like, nah, it's cool. They want their Oprah moment, quote unquote, really early on. Angel lets them know that he's going to be able to watch all these things from his computer if they need him to watch and check from his own end. He has two different ones set up on two different battery sources just in case the power were to go off again. So if one goes off in one location, they'll still be able to see from the other one. But as it mentioned in the Wikipedia article, the other one, the B camera, just magically happened to have a bug over the top of it the entire time that pretty much OJ was out trying to hunt a horse down. But that reveal that they do of Angel shows up out of nowhere in the middle of the day, and he just looks off into the distance and says, pretty much, damn it, it's still there. That is insane. And he's like, what are you talking about? It's like, come here. And he shows him and rewinds it and says, stop me when you catch it. And they both notice that there's just one cloud that refuses to move in the distance. And OJ says, I've probably been looking at that same cloud for 6 months, and it's been hunting. Jupe introduces a live show in Jupiter's claim and plans to use Lucky as bait to lure out the UFO, which he has been feeding the Hayward's horses to for months in front of a paying audience. He tells the audience he believes he has developed a trusting relationship with the extraterrestrial he calls the viewers that are in control of the UFO. The UFO arrives but devours Jupe and the entire audience, leaving Jupiter's claim abandoned. During a thunderstorm, the UFO stalks the Hayward home and expels a rain of This has a major jump in it, the wiki article, so I'm going to try to freeform this. I'll probably be cutting in and out because I'll be reading that to try to re-jog my memory and make sure I don't miss anything up. But we're going to go about it my way this time because this is kind of all over the place, and it misses one of the best scares in the movie. So M, noticing that this thing is targeting horses, goes to Jupe's call, or Jupiter's claim, that's it. Goes to Jupiter's claim and takes one of his metal horses that he has out front. It's tied with a long long ribbon, and tries to set it up and has all the cameras focusing on that location. That's when the mantis shows up, so they can't actually get a solid view of what this thing is. Surely enough, later that night, they hear some strange noises in the barn or the stables as OJ goes out there to try to check on what's going on. And you can see these very signs like aliens kind of creeping, walking, just barely poking out. And they move in such a unique, strange way. And it's so good. The entire film could have been based on that, and I would have been in hook, line, and sinker. But it turns out it's Jupe's kids trying to play a prank on him because Emily stole her, or not Emily, wow. Because M took the horse. That's one of the best scares in the entire film, and they don't even bring it up in the Wikipedia article. That's strange to me. It's Wikipedia, and I guess it doesn't make sense to the major plot, but it's still really cool and would have been good to mention. When Jupe earlier on, Jupe's after the horse goes missing, the metal horse goes missing, he kind of swings by and was like, hey, we're doing a family show this Friday. If you guys want to stop by, that's going to be his, stellar, spectacular, or something like along those lines, kind of hinting at the fact that it might be something from space. And he's been baiting it with those horses, putting him in like a metal container, as they're all beginning to notice the cloud move towards them. And it's vicious. Like, it just seems like a giant vacuum sucking people up until you hear the sounds of the people getting caught in the vacuum. That gets real. Is that this time OJ wants to go, he wants to get Lucky back, so he goes to Jupiter's claim to try to get Lucky back, the horse that struggled in the beginning of the film. And it's a ghost town, and he can tell everything's quiet, and he notices that the cloud is right above the location. That being said, he is now hiding behind wood, as you're seeing these bits of kind of just quickly skirting by across the screen. They do a great job of making the threat a mystery and still making it really cool. Hello? There we go. And still making the mystery and the threat extremely cool. He gets lucky and ends up riding back, truck and trailer. On his way back, it begins to rain heavily. During a thunderstorm, the UFO stalks the Hayward home and expels a rain of victims' bloods and belongings. OJ deduces that the UFO is not a spacecraft, but a predatory territorial creature, and that it eats anything that looks directly at it. While Jupe failed to tame the creature, OJ believes that its behavior can be understood and influenced in order to capture footage of it without being killed. The Haywards, having tried to hire a skeptical Holst for assistance, convince him after he hears about the Jupiter's Claim incident. OJ dubs the creature Jean Jacket, named after a horse that their father could never fully tame and that M was supposed to train. The scene that they set up with the thunderstorm is incredible. It does a great job of, you're hearing nothing but silence beneath the creature, and you're hearing from OJ's perspective heavy rain as he's beginning to drive home. What's his name? Angel? As the silence begins and they begin to play music as they are wont to do, them hanging out at the house, the music begins to twane as you're beginning to hear more rain begin to fall, as they slowly see a couple of windows begin to be covered in a red mist and a light sludgy blood coming down from it. You're hearing bits of coins and almost like hail hitting the roof. Also, as OJ begins to drive up, you see the giant metal horse pierce through the front of his windshield. Oh, it's grade A, man. It's so good. So good, so good. Yeah, I mean, that pretty much covers most of that. To circumvent Jean Jacket's effect on electronic, Holst brings a hand-cranked IMAX film camera to capture footage. With Angel, the group work out a plan to bait out Jean Jacket and watch a field of scattered tube-men props for electrical malfunction to deduce its location in the sky. However, Paparazzo trespasses onto the field and is thrown from his electric motorcycle when it shuts down near Jean Jacket's electromagnetic field. He is devoured by Jean Jacket while begging OJ to film the event. Though Holst captures footage of Jean Jacket, his obsession with the impossible shots results in him sacrificing himself along with his camera, forcing the remaining three to flee. Angel survives an attack from Jean Jacket by being wrapped in a tarp and barbed wire, causing the creature to unfurl from its saucer shape to a jellyfish-like form. M lures Jean Jacket away from OJ while she uses the motorcycle to rush Jupiter's charm. There, M untethers the park's large helium balloon mascot. Jean Jacket attempts to feed on the balloon while M uses an attraction's analog camera to photograph Jean Jacket before the balloon explodes, seemingly killing the creature. With the picture as proof of the creature's existence and reporters arriving nearby, M sees an unharmed OJ and Lucky standing outside of Jupiter's claim. And that's the wiki plot. Wiki plot's kind of in an incorrect order, but doesn't stop it from being good. And it helps me kind of remember where stuff was going and what was good to talk about. That pretty much covers it. The only thing that I really had a problem with the actual plot of the film was the cinematographer had no care about his own life. He only cared about having a shot and being immortalized in that way. So him just wanting to go out and get the impossible shot in this creature made not a lot of sense to me, but who am I? Besides that, yeah, that's the end of the movie. Yeah, it's difficult to talk about this film because it's so unique in its own aspects, so you can't really compare it to much else. It's shifting from what you're thinking it could be, aka you think it's going to be an invasion of the body snatchers or some sort of just UFO taking up as many cows, destroy human style, and just moving along its way, and it becoming its own creature, and then having the tie into people who train horses or wanting to pretty much control that and like adjust it for fame, and then slowly not caring about the fame at all, which is what they're originally like trying to get a hold of, and letting it just be surviving and a brother and sister growing closer together due to a traumatic experience. They do an amazing job. It's great great storytelling through film, and I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was really good. I know I've been kind of all over the place with this one. This is definitely not one of my better ones. Let's talk about it. The plot itself, I'll give a 9 for the plot itself. I thought the story has never been told before, and I thought it was extremely fascinating. The characters were really well developed, and all of them made sense and were written as normal people. They would talk like people would talk. The scares in it's looming threat plus the one major scare of the kids in the stable. Like, so the overall threat of this, I give a 8 because the mystery of this creature is one of a kind. Because it's strange. It's almost like the Mist meets like Jaws. It's once again one of a kind. I'm keeping it at an 8 for scares. The threat itself is another 8. Like, once again, it ties to the mystery. The mystery makes this thing so much more scary than it actually is. Once you finally see it and it kind of comes out, you're not as scared of it. The tail end of the film kind of doesn't really do it any justice because it's so spaced out. You're seeing the creature more and more, and just because we don't necessarily understand it doesn't mean that we're not going to lose the effect of seeing the villain that often. It's like seeing a monster in a monster movie. Eventually, you don't fear what you're looking at anymore. So I'll give the threat a 7 on that because the ending did tamper it pretty badly. Not badly, but did tamper with it a little bit. Did kind of like lower what it was bringing forth throughout the rest of the movie. Is this movie for newbies? Sure. It's not necessarily bloody. There is animal violence in it. It's all CGI, but if you can't handle that, I don't recommend this. Do I recommend this movie? Absolutely, I do. Yeah, I think it's one of Peele's better works. With all that being said, not that many of you asked, I will give Nope a 7.5. Now, is this movie blood-curdling scary? Will I be holding my pillow at night? Not at all. Do I think this movie's fantastic? Yes. Do I think this movie has some scary moments? Yes. Do I think if you know nothing about the movie going into it, you're going to enjoy it more? Absolutely. So that's why I set timestamps. I hope you all have a great day. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all those fun things. Take care. Stay scared. See you guys.